Hey, John, some people can save more in their 401ks, and this is a special deal just for 2025. Hi, I'm Bridget Sullivan Ramel, and I own a family financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Shear. I run a field financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. And before we dig into how to save more in 2025 into your 401k, I want to remind all of our viewers, hit that subscribe button. Help other people find this information on YouTube and help us grow our reach. And with that, Bridget, looking forward to talking about, saving money is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, I wanted to talk first about the story, the facts, and I'll talk about the story behind it, and then we can talk more about some more facts. Okay, so the facts are that if you are age 60, 61, 62, and 63, you can do an extra catch-up contribution in 2025 to your 401k or 403b. And so the total amount that you could put in for a catch-up contribution increases to 11,250. And that the IRA limit in general for 2025 is 23,500. So the total is $24,750. So that is up from the regular catch-up contribution of 7,500, which is available for everybody who's over 50.
Man, all these rules to keep track of, right? We got the over for the regular 401k deferral, then the over 50 one, then the special one if you're in your early 60s, right? I mean,
Not 65.
yeah,
At
yeah, right.
64, I don't know why.
So,
Yeah.
so what's the total amount again? If I'm 62 years old, right? I want to pack money in. What's the total nut that I can put in 25 coming up?
34,750.
So 34,000, and last year that number was 30,000, right?
I think
For
around there.
those folks, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So you get a little extra kick. And is it just 25, or does that go forward from there?
Just 25. So here's the story behind it. All right. So we have the Secure Act that was passed. The first Secure Act was passed in 2019, and then they had Secure 2.0, which was passed, I think, about 2 years ago. And so some of the provisions are just coming into play now. But this one provision was to try to pay for some of the other things that they did with the Secure Act. They were saying that highly compensated employees who are over 50, that their catch-up contributions would have to go into a Roth 401k, not a regular 401k. And at that time, they said that if you had made 145,000 in the previous year, that would be highly compensated. Okay, so at that point, then you'd have to put money, the catch-up contribution would have to go into your Roth 401k, not your regular 401k. All right, so this is one of those situations where they pass a law and there's big outcry, because in my experience, probably 80% of the companies didn't even have a Roth 401k. So this is a big, and the companies that had them were together companies run by accountants,
Yeah, yeah,
and
right.
all right, we're just trying to offer a little 401k here. Can't we, do this? And so there was a big outcry. So it got pushed back. Instead of having to take effect earlier, it got pushed back to 2026. Okay. So then, but this whole extra catch-up contribution was still there for the people who are 60, 61, 62, 63. I'm laughing because it's just kind of random, right? So these 4 years. So that was still there. So now it's available for the people that are just contributing to 401k. And the whole put it in a Roth is set to go in, put it into a Roth 401k or 403b is set to go into place in 2026. All right. So do you have any questions? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, the rules that get made up, right? Sometimes as you kind of laughed about it, right? And you think, but payroll's got to figure these things out, and the record keeping, takeaways. So, I love takeaways. It's the whole raw thing is still a thing, but not till 26. Don't worry about it this year. Next year, if you're in that 4 year bracket of things, right, in your early 60s, you can put extra money in. You can do the super catch up, maybe we'll call it that. for next year anyway, and put extra money into it, right? And it's one of those that, sort of take advantage of what it is. I tend to get frustrated with how these rules get written, and what it falls upon. And of course, you and I, we do this for a living, right? That's part of our job, is to dig into this for folks. But I tend to think about, what are regular people that, try to follow these rules and want to do the right things with stuff. I mean, it just makes it so challenging for people to be able to do the things that, that they want to and can do, right? It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. It benefits them. The other thing, so here's the other suspicion that I have. So I started my tax practice in 1997, so it's been a while. And I have seen a lot of laws come and go. And when there's this big outcries and we have a new administration in Washington, and they're writing laws even as we speak, and then trying to get them passed. And I heard that they're thinking about a Secure Act 3.0, to change some of the things that happened in 2.0. Probably this, I would think, would be on their radar, but they got to pay for it somehow. So how are they going to pay for it? So that's a big question. Yeah. So anyway, I'm encouraging people to take advantage of it in 2025. If they're on the fence, do it, because it might just be gone. It might be a one-time only. And actually next year, I would probably say it's a 50-50 chance that you will have to put it into a Roth if you're highly compensated. And again, the 2022 number is 145,000.
Yeah, and that Roth thing again is not, as we think about next year, not next.
It's individual. The 145 is individual, not joint.
Not joint. Okay, good. Yeah. So if you make not your combined income on things, so two
Right.
people making 100 don't fall over that category, right?
Right. And if one spouse makes over that amount and the other spouse doesn't, the second spouse can put in the extra
Into the regular.
into theirs. Yeah, into their regular, because 401ks are individual accounts, similar to IRAs.
Right. Man, keeping track of all this stuff for regular, talk about regular people. It's challenging with things.
That's why we do our show.
But yeah, right. That's right.
Why we do
That's
the
right.
show. And it's for the people that have their antenna up, it's great. But the other thing is that, with the companies, if you work for a company who's on top of this stuff or not, people know. And so sometimes you have to complain and try it. Like, I don't know how it's going to work with my 401k personally, because we've got just a small plan. But I'm going to take advantage of it. Right. So I might have to bug my payroll. We might have to do a little extra work, might take an extra phone call or two. Because I'm not convinced that every 401k provider is going to be, and payroll company is going to be aware of this.
Right. So two things, one question and one comment. The question I have is that during the year, right? If I'm 59 now, do I qualify for that next year if I turn 60 in October? Do you know?
I think so. Yeah. But I'm not positive, so double check.
And again, some of these rules that they kind of wrote and are figuring it out, as it goes along. And then, go ahead.
Out the rules for how to pay for it. So they don't want it to cost too much. The budget office tells them how much they think every different permeation will cost. And so then that's why the rules are so weird and arcane.
Yeah.
The
other So the other thing is, how do you know, and I think you said it here before, but right. So what's the takeaway? Be aware that if you are going to be in your early 60s next year, that you have this opportunity, and make sure you're talking with HR and your payroll department, that you max that out to the extent that you want to do that, right? Because you can't be guaranteed that they're going to figure it out for you, right? And as you said, some companies are really on top of it and some aren't. And be prepared to have that conversation with folks. If your HR payroll is just not one of their strengths of this, is know what the rules are and know what your rights are to be able to do things here, right?
Absolutely, I agree. So it's time to wrap it up. I'm Bridget Sullivan Ramel. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Shearer. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. Both Bridget and I are taking on new clients, so we'd love to hear from you. But if you'd like an advisor in your area who thinks like we do, Bridget and I are both members of the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners. nationwide group of fee-only planners that are tax-focused. And if you'd like to find a planner in your area, you can check out acplanners.org.
And please subscribe.